I need to bring this word because the dream I had, it was so real. And so what I saw in this spirit is an invasion, a coming invasion. And I believe as a church, we really need to pray about this and pray against it happening, because it wasn't a very nice experience. Literally, the Lord showed me in a vision, and someone came up to me and said, look at Ezra. The book of Ezra is about the people of God being in captivity. It's about the rebuilding of God's temple. And so I'm in this vision. The vision that I see before me is like a horizon with the sun coming up, and it looks like the sun is setting. And as I'm looking at the sun setting, I can see tall figures walking towards me. And if you could just imagine a silhouette, these tall figures. But even as I was looking at this vision, I said to myself, what time is it? And it was 2:30 p.m. in the afternoon. And so it was very, very early for the sun to be setting, but it was at that point where the sun was getting dark. Everywhere was in ruins, pretending like I was dead because I didn't want this people to come and get me, but they just walked straight up to me and picked me up. And that was the end of the dream. And so what I believe the Lord is saying, that this is a warning dream of what's coming. And you know, there's been a lot in the news about the rebuilding of the temple, and I believe that something is about to break forth in that. But I just felt like I was all the way back into the old days, all the way back into the times where people were taken into captivity. And so I believe we're about to go into some serious times where things will be unsure, where we'll be unknown, and we are literally in the last days. And so we need to be prayerful, pray against invasions, pray against anything like that that would come, and just pray into what God is doing. It's not the nicest word to bring to you today. Obviously, I want to bring joy, I want to bring good words, and I do feel like there is joy in it, because the same way the rebuilding of the temple will happen, the physical temple, we must also realize that we are also the temple of the Lord, and God will build us. One of the things that has been really, just a word that's really been in my heart recently, is a part in the Bible when Jesus talks about bread. The disciples are asking Jesus for bread, and Jesus makes it clear to them, I'm not talking about physical bread. And I just think we're in that time where we have to really begin to discern between what is spirit and what is in the natural. And that comes, you know, by exercising your spirit, by understanding the way of the spirit. But sometimes when we hear things or we see things in the word and we just totally give it a natural understanding, when God is saying that it is of the spirit that he's speaking about, he's not talking about the physical. And so this is one of the things that I feel like in this season is going to be at the forefront of discernment, to know what is God speaking about spiritually, what is he speaking about in the natural. And I also feel like there'll be a lot of parallels that we will have to learn how to decipher and engage, because I believe that is really where a lot of the confusion in the body of Christ comes from. And so with this dream, I feel like we really need to pray into this. We really need to pray into invasions. You know, the world is really unrest right now, but we do need to keep our eyes on what God is doing and not just what we see in the world, because we are in this world, but we are not a part of this world as believers. And so, beloved, thank you for watching this. I just wanted to leave a little message at the end because while I was getting this word ready and editing it, the actual headlines started to show that America, the USA, there's talk of invasions and people plotting in different areas. And while this word is just coming through now, I believe we need to really still pray into it, because there have been other words on other channels, probably even like a year back, speaking about invasions. But a lot of the time, and so this is probably not a new word for many who have already heard, but I think it is a now word, and it will give us just a level of strategy to be able to pray into what God is saying. And also, it could be in a wider scope, because I've been seeing invasions on different levels. Okay. Invasions in the spiritual, in dreams, invasions of all kinds. Okay. And so we really need to pray. This is a very strong prayer point in the spirit right now. Okay. And so I feel at this time we really need to pray. We have certain prayer points, not only praying against invasions, also to pray against captivity, pray against the enemy, not just in the natural invasions, but also spiritual invasions. Pray against destruction. Pray against all of these things in your prayer time. Take it to the Lord and begin to pray, because it's only as a church where we begin to pray. I'm not saying that these things can be totally escaped, because we are in the day and we are in the hour. But, you know, we need to still pray to make sure that innocent lives, people who could get caught up in the destruction of the enemy, that there will be lives spared. Okay, that people will have the understanding and know where to go and where not to go. And so I just wanted to say this to you. And also, you know, pray also that these words can come out on time, because I had a lot of spiritual warfare, just bringing this word, just things not working. And, you know, it's taken me nearly over a week to bring this word. And so I have a number of words that I'm going to be releasing. I'm just going to release them all in a row as quickly as possible, because I believe it's just a time for, you know, action, a time for prayer. And so also pray for this channel, pray for me to be able to release these words on time. And God bless you. Speak soon.